So today we're going to read The Polar Express. How many of you have read this book before or seen the movie?
I have seen the movie. I have the movie and I have the book. I actually think it. I read the book, but I haven't watched it. I think for hours.
So if you say yes,
I saw the movie. Yeah,
you saw the movie in second grade.
it was so cool.
Polar Express. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear. The ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear sounds, though not of ringing bells. From outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house.
Well, it tells you that on the movie whenever he's laying down sleeping. It tells you that whole stuff. Cool.
It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe, and tiptoed downstairs and out the door. All aboard, the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he said, are you coming? Where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course, was his answer. This is the Polar Express. I took his outstretched hand, and pulled me aboard. If you had a chance to do that, who would go on the train?
I would go on the train.
Yes.
I have the train.
You would get on the train? Logan, can you sit up for me? Would you get on the train, Logan?
Yes.
You would get on the train?
I would too. I love that train.
Nope, not me. Okay. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nugget centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Who can raise their hand and tell me what they think nugget is?
It's like a round chocolate.
Cameron? Right. It said nugget as white as snow. Kobe?
Oh, snow.
Yeah, sort of. It's just kind of like a center in a whipped cream. It's kind of think of like Three Musketeers bars and how it has like the stuff in the middle. That's kind of like what it is. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. Who can raise their hand and tell me what they think lean wolves are? Madison?
Skinny.
Cameron? Yeah, sort of. Kind of like wild wolves, kind of like untamed. But skinny is also skinny. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice, the Great Polar Ice Cap. Have you guys ever heard of the Great Polar Ice Cap?
No. I have to place that. Because I have the whole thing.
Logan?
Um, the bridge is tall. It's like very tall and like it's like long, a long bridge, a super long bridge, and the water is so cold. Yes. Well, I'm gonna stick my tongue there. Then I'm gonna stick
The North Pole. It was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. They're gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift of Christmas, we all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Look, shouted one of the children, the elves. Outside we saw hundreds of elves. All as our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no further, we stopped and the conductor let us outside. How many elves do you think there were? Millions.
too much that they wouldn't be that like I would be like I'm a they'll be like this
Mark?
25 million more than that.
Madeline?
200,000. That is one.
Logan?
100 billion.
100 billion.
The everlasting one. That has the everlasting numbers I don't. That's not I know.
Santa Claus. We passed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from the harness. It was a magical sound, like nothing I ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us, pointing to me, said, let's have this fellow here. He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee, and he asked, now what would you like for Christmas? If you could have anything from Santa's bag, what would you have?
Everything. An iPhone.
An iPhone? Mark?
It's one big one. I would have I just want I would have a oh yeah, I talking about this. Oh no.
Wyatt, what about you?
Wyatt,
Wyatt,
money?
Money?
I would have a potty cannon too that shoots containers. Yeah, like two.
What I would want from Santa Claus? What would you like to be one of his workers?
Oh, that's great.
And take care of his reindeer. I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most from Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it out to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas."
I'll say it.
A clock struck midnight as the elves wore their approval. Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sled. Santa shouted out the reindeer's names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared into the cold, dark, polar sky.
So you can whip his reindeer to go faster?
A whip is also used for like horseback riding, so it's something if the horse doesn't listen, that's another way to just get them to listen.
Years ago, when somebody Copy.
It's like what is it like from like back days, when black people were like doing the holidays and white people were with them, remember? Yeah, slavery. As soon as we were back inside, as soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus's sleigh. Let's hurry outside and look for it, one of the children said. But the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. How do you guys think it? I know what they do in the movie, but I see the movie too. But how do you guys think he got the hole in the back of the pocket? Because when he went outside, the post for the bed was ripped.
Yeah, he ripped his pocket and he put it in the wrong pocket and it fell out.
What's another way? Because I know that's that's how the movie shows it. But what's another way that could happen? Madeline?
When he was like coming, his hand like
Or someone stole it. Do you think that it could have just been like an old robe? And that's how it ripped? I think that could have been magic. Could have been magic then? Yeah. His bathroom ripped? Yeah, and I just it broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I could not hear him. What? I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. Merry Christmas, he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. How would you guys feel if you lost the bell?
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care because I know it's gonna happen.
Kobe, Marcus.
I would just think. What?
What were you saying?
I wouldn't care. It's probably gonna get a new one.
Why?
I would be crying if I lost that.
In the movie, it's a present. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was a silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound.
Because they don't believe in Christmas.
Why?
Because I guess Santa probably made it sound where the parents can't hear it. Well, he probably made it where the kids can hear it.
Because the movie, like, whoever does not believe in Santa.
Hold on 1 second. We're gonna talk about it, okay? At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me, as it does for all who truly believe. So you were right, Mark.
Yeah, like whoever believes in it, it rings for them. But whoever doesn't,
doesn't believe Santa. Well, that's why Santa is real, because he gives gifts to everybody, but some people don't believe Santa because they have helpers.
That's the pizza for me?
And in a movie about Christmas story, the elves put in the presents.
Yeah, and Elf is the one that wraps the presents and puts them in the box.
I know, it's in my show.
Okay. High five.
What else wraps?
High five. Okay. For those of you who've seen the movie, what differences are there between the book and the movie? Madam?
The movie is longer than the book because there's like they get lost
Yeah, it's just the page.
Like they get stuck on the
Oh.
they got they got stuck in the one thing. They got stuck in the present thing.
Yeah, and they saw the elves.
Madison?
They got in the movie. They got stopped by all the reindeer, and the guy had pulled the wrong beard, and he went, and all of the things started moving.
Yeah, the reindeers.
They in the movie they didn't in the book they didn't show the little girl losing their ticket and when she went upstairs on top of the train and the ghost guy was like one on top of Joe but it was actually something in socks in it. Yeah, it was like and then like after that, like he keep doing it. Then he was skipping down with the guy, and then got to the cold part, and saw the little girl driving the train.
Why?
Oh, and it did skip the part too. Whenever they told them to stop on the train, they never stopped. And the thing got stuck and they gone real fast and they got on the ice and they got stuck there and the whole train was covered in ice. And then the thing started. The thing was in the thing that stopped it. It got on the ice and it cracked it, and it got in the water. So they got back right on the track. So they had to keep going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
And the whole thing was.
I remember the girl got in trouble, so she couldn't be with the other kids, and she actually got to drive the train, and it was funny.
No, yeah, I forgot she lost.
How? How should we?
For leaving the train.
Okay. Well, so Miss Grant also needs to do her video, so we need to eat snacks, okay? So
Oh,
go ahead and
and